But someone like Rema has gone out there and called people out for you guys and tried to fight for you guys, and you guys are not even fighting for yourself. You're not giving people a reason to fight for you. The award ceremony is going to happen, and as expected, the biggest stars won't show up. And because why? It's not well organized. It's beneath their standard.
How far now?
My brother, what's good?
How you doing? You look nice.
Thank you, my brother. Happy Valentine. You look nice too.
Valentine. All right, so the Headies dropped their nomination list, and that's caused a lot of conversation online.
My brother.
So now the question is, what does the 17th Headies nomination list say about the award?
It says a lot. It says a lot. And I mean, where do I begin? If I actually start seeing everything in my mind about the Headies, we probably won't leave here today. We'll shoot for 3 hours. And to start with, right, it gives me no pleasure, coming here, sitting down, like just berating these guys, just pointing out holes in their stuff, in their nominations list. It doesn't give me any joy. It's not what I want to do. I don't think it's what anyone wants to do. Actually, any person that is a fan of this award, it's not what they want to do, but you've been left with no choice because of the abysmal way things have been. It's just unbelievably bad. Now, the 17th edition, the nominations came out 2 days ago. There was no award ceremony 2024, so that's 2 years to prepare for this one. They rolled out the nominations list for 10 hours. It took 10 hours, and it was not without a lot of mistakes. I mean, the something as basic as vetting release dates. Headies couldn't do that. Do you know how unbelievably ridiculous it is for you not to be able to confirm which day, which month the song was released, and if it was released outside the eligibility window? The eligible window, you guys set an eligibility period from April 1st to July 31st. That's April 1st, 2023 to July 31st, 2024, and proceeded to nominate Phyno's album that was dropped a couple of months after that. I think in October. Yeah. Then you also nominated Omale. Then after Backlash, they took it down. They've uploaded it again. Then people was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Then they took it down and removed Phyno's. Then they uploaded it again. Then they nominated Omale's Moving for Best Male Vocal Performance, which I think shouldn't have been nominated in the first place, because I don't know what vocals did Omale have on that song. I mean, if you guys are looking for male vocal performance to nominate, that if there's one more slot and someone has to fill that slot, I think I have a couple of suggestions. There's Dirty Dice that dropped an entire album. There's Wizard Chan that dropped an entire album. Remarkable vocal performances. Skip them. And these are albums that fell within the eligible period, right? You skip them, then you proceeded to nominate an Omale song that shouldn't have been nominated. Not because, number one, because it doesn't do anything special that is deserving of vocal recognition, and also because it was outside the eligible period. It was dropped in August. It shows that there's some basic things were not done, because for a song to be finally nominated, number one, it has to be submitted. Number two, it has to go through like a couple of vetting periods, like where the jury would shortlist again before they finally come up with the final list. But it shows that did this process even happen? And now we talk about submissions. If we're seeing a Phyno song outside the eligible window, and we're also seeing an Omale song, a Phyno album outside the eligible window, and an Omale song outside that window as well, are you telling me that these artists themselves submitted these materials knowing that they don't fall within the eligible window? Is that the message they're trying to pass? Are they trying to say that Phyno's team saw the window that for the materials that will be considered, and Omale's team saw it too and proceeded to submit songs and an album that are outside this window? It doesn't make sense. So that suggests that it's something that they just possibly just look for what songs can we put, what album can we nominate, and choose to nominate them without doing their own work. It's just unbelievable. It shows an unprofessionalism in execution. And this is an award ceremony that means a lot that should mean a lot to every Nigerian music fan, every Nigerian artist, and everybody in the Nigerian music ecosystem. This is an award show that should mean everything to them. The opposite is entirely the case. And it's just I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And it says, like, if this 17th nomination says a lot of stuff, it says that things were not just done right. From the first process up till now, things have not been done right. From the nomination, from the shortlisting process to the vetting process, even to the ruling out the nominations list, things have not been done right. It's not been done right, and it just makes us wonder, how is the ceremony supposed to go? So it shows lack of preparedness. It shows that people who should do their job fail to do their job. It shows that the Headies is not taking itself as seriously as it should take itself. And when you don't take yourself very seriously, you cannot expect people to take you seriously. It is not surprising when people do not take you seriously, because you obviously do not take yourself seriously. For our ceremony, the least you could do is get your nominations right. There were just like a lot of surprising omissions. Now, for example, the alternative / traditional categories, that's the best alternative / traditional song, the best alternative / traditional album, they were not included in this year's nominations at all, without any explanation. I don't know if they were proscribed, if the categories have been terminated without unceremoniously so, and without even any kind of announcement whatsoever or explanation. Things are not done like that. Like, there were new categories created. Nice. Even I cannot make sense of some of them, but okay. Like best Afrobeat album. I mean, the majority of what we do is already Afrobeat. So okay, but I get that they're trying to, like, people that make a bit of album with kind of like a foreign like the bulk of the elements in the album is foreign and cannot be considered Afrobeat. Then they want to nominate them for that, like someone like Thames. Then why didn't you nominate Burna Boy for best album? Burna Boy, City Boy. For best sorry, I said City Boy. Burna Boy, I told them for best album, then just nominate the rest for Afrobeat album. Because if you're nominating the album, the same album you nominate for, I get that the album of the year, a lot of them are also qualified for Afrobeat album of the year, but it's just duplicity. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, I get like there should be more categories to reward excellence, but expand it, cut it across creative, do a lot of, like, there are other things. It's just like the Grammys have a lot of categories, like a lot of, like, categories that you don't even like, what is this? Yeah, just like what's all these, what's this bluegrass and stuff like that. But yeah, you should go deep, separate alternative mainstream alternative music from traditional folk music. That's one way to go about it. But I don't know. Then there's Afrobeat single of the year from song of the year, the new category. Then there's also there's live performer of the year. I think that's good. That's positive. But you remove two categories without an explanation. Just shows that things are not done right. And if at all anything, this nominations for the 17 Headies just shows that Headies is still a bit far off from where we want them to be, and they are not showing any sort of commitment to get to that position that we need them to be.
All right, so with these shortcomings that you have listed from the Headies, who do we think, or do you think, should be blamed for these shortcomings?
The Headies organizers, the academy, everybody involved, from the executive producer down to the rank and file. Because, I mean, come on. Like, how do you explain this? How do you defend this? How do you defend that an album and a song went through the vetting process and still made the nominations list, and it was outside the eligibility period?
Which is the first thing. Like,
it was not eligible and it went through all this process and still made the cut. How do you defend? How do you explain it? Like, other things I can defend, other things I can explain. Nominations that were missing, like omissions that were questionable. It's an award ceremony. There will never be an award ceremony whose nominations list is satisfactory to everybody. I think awards are, by their nature, a bit divisive. I don't say entirely polarizing, because to a substantial extent, we should be able to agree on some things. Like, we should be able to agree that this person maybe deserves to be nominated for album of the year and stuff like that. But at the same time, awards tend to be divisive, because only one person can win it, and everybody has an opinion of who should win it or who should get nominated. So those are understandable. Oh, Blaze B didn't get nominated. It's understandable. Jason didn't get nominated for producer of the year after producing Big Baller and Oja Piano. Okay, it's understandable. I think it should, but it happens, right? Oja Piano wasn't nominated for Song of the Year,
and that was a hit.
And it was one of the most defining records of 2023, even into 2024. In Big Baller 2024. Okay, it happens, right? you move on, you move past it. It is the nature of awards. But nominating a song outside the eligible period and it's just you cannot defend that. It just shows that things are not done right, and that the bulk of this fault falls at the feet of the organizers, of the people who run this award. So, and even in the terms of how they roll out, how you've made plans and people not being carried along, people don't know what's happening, and you start rolling out an awards nomination and you're making mistakes and everything is just looking like chaotic. It's the bulk falls at the Headies. And I think a lot of the issues stems to a lack of regular calendar. I mean, if an award show should have a stable calendar, we know the Grammys would happen between January to March every year. Between January to March every year, the Grammys most likely February, the Grammys would happen. The period under consideration. It ends so months.
It's an award season.
It's an award season. How it works. If you're dropping your song after this, it's still next year. It's why GNX wasn't nominated for Album of the Year. It's still next year. You stand. You know it. These things, you already figure these things out. It's already stable. But there's no calendar. There's no stable calendar. When that happens, the result is that context of the year review, they're largely lost. For example, now, if the Grammys that's the 2023 to 24 Grammys, that's like I say Grammys. If the April to July, that's over a calendar year already. That's 1 year and like 2 extra months, right? That's like 14 months. But let's say the distance from April to February and the award ceremony happens in May last year. Context will not be lost. I don't think a song with like Ojapiano would not have been nominated. But because the award is happening almost basically 2 years after some of the song dropped, of course context will be lost. Like things have happened way after that. The popularity, the impact, the context of the impact and popularity of this record would have been lost. And that's why our award needs to happen when they have to happen regularly, like to award the excellence in the year review. For example, a song like Oblé that dominated 30 December has to wait till December this year, because there's going to be a second edition of the December this year. So that one is going to possibly from like July, from August 2024 to possibly, I don't know, to like maybe September 2025. Right now, between January this year to September this year, a lot of things would have happened. A lot of superstars would have dropped a lot of projects. A lot of songs would have blew up. And it's just like the context of the success of songs released between July last year to January this year would have been lost. That's why you see the Rookie of the Year list. You feel like if this award had happened earlier than this, some people would have got into that nominations list, even the Headies, even the next Grammy, next rated. If the award had happened 8 months earlier, a TML vibe, Muiz, a couple of these guys would have possibly should have made the Rookie of the Year list. If the award had happened 8 months earlier, the next rated would have looked very different. But it's because it's not happening and context is lost. And people who should be rewarded are not being rewarded because it's not happening when it should happen. And okay, it has happened. Like, there's no stable calendar. It's happening. We're happy it's happening. The least you can do is just get it right in terms of your nomination. And they don't. So the fault, again, it just lies entirely on the Headies. I mean, I understand that maybe there are underlying issues outside of what they can control. The perception of the artist, or the perception and behavior of the artist towards this award, even the fans. But a bulk of the issue is their execution, poor execution, the side funding and stuff like that, and the way it looks like. It doesn't look like you're not making it very attractive to people, especially the new generation. You're not making it attractive to them. So it's just like we're just rehashing the same issue. We are rehashing the same issue. Last year we came here, we said the same thing. Why is it like this? Why is it like that? This year we're back. 2 years before that we said the same thing. So I mean, it has to be the fault of the organizers, because if someone is in charge of a job and they keep having recurring issues, then we have to ask questions like, what's happening? What's going on here? So it's just I don't know, man. It's just sad.
It's just sad. All right. So now that we've agreed that the bulk of the shortcomings from the organizers of the Headies, do we think that the artists or fan have contributed in some sort to the struggles of the Headies?
Yes. I mean, there's no way we would deny the fact that artists themselves, even the fans who've not shown as much support as we should. I think with the Headies, right, there was a time that they got to a point where they were struggling to get it right. And I think at that point, they needed the artists to rally around them, to give back to the Headies what the Headies give to them. But these artists didn't show up. These artists didn't care, right? And it's just sad. It's just sad because you want to be able to support institutions, especially institutions. You want your stars to support institutions, especially institutions that played a pivotal role in advancing Nigerian music and even their respective careers. Next Rated was just being nominated for Next Rated exposed you to a whole new audience. People want to know who you are.
Yes, I agree.
Who is this person that's been nominated for Next Rated? You become, so people want to know your music, people want to be conversant with you, people want to get familiar. Headies used to be a huge platform. I would never forget it. 2011, I think it's 11 Next Rated. Ice Prince, Bado, Wiz, Tiwa Savage, all nominated, all sitting down. Those are some of the greatest superstars in the history of the 21st century of Nigerian music. And you see them, like you see the eagerness with which they want to win the award. You see the eagerness Davido went to collect his award. All of them, even when Badu was tackling Don Jazzy on stage,
it was a big deal.
It was a big deal because the award is a big deal. The award matters. So it evokes such emotions, and that's the nature of award. When The Weeknd was calling out the Grammys, Nicki has constantly called out the Grammys. Drake was on stage telling people that, it's good to win these, but if you don't win it, don't let it get to you and stuff like that, because it matters. It gets to people. It raises it evokes emotion, and that's because it's an award artists care about. It's an award artists care about, right? So that's what it used to be, and I do not understand how you used to be so up here, and you just start dropping, and you're not even able to eat the breaks. It's disturbing, right? And so the artists didn't show up when Headies needed them. The biggest artists stopped caring, and this happened when everyone went international. Right? They stopped showing up, they stopped caring. It became cool to snub the Headies. It became cool to sub the Headies. The Headies was happening. Wizkid was having a huge show in the UK, selling out the whole tour the same day. And the attention was divided because there was no synergy in the industry. It won't happen with the Grammys. At least I don't think it would. I don't think the Grammys will be happening and Taylor Swift will be having a concert that day. I don't think she would do that. I don't think she would do that, right? So there was no. I don't know if there were communications, if there was I think there was no respect enough between the Headies as an institution and the artists as a collective. There's no mutual respect, and I think the respect was gradually lost when these people feel that the Headies was not credible, this and that. Again, I feel like you could say that you could have issues with a couple of categories, but that's not enough reason for you to try to destroy an institution. There's not a year that the Grammys don't have problems. Don't have problem. Not just 2024 edition. That's the 66th edition. They mistakenly announced Nicki as a winner.
Yes, and made a post.
I made a post.
I remember.
It's not like no award doesn't come with some bit of flaws here and there. But what matters is that institutions will stand irrespective of what the individual opinions about it, right? Because they are able to collectively command the respect of people. They're able to command the respect of a collective. So occasional individual dissents will not necessarily do too much damage to them. And they see this dissent, they act on it. The Weeknd is back performing at the Grammys.
Exactly.
The kids are made up. You act on it. So I think the Nigerian artists, they acted sports like brats, with all due respect to them. Like, this is I didn't win an award. Some people call it the Yoruba Award. Some people call it there's nepotism, and I wouldn't. They have reasons to say that stuff. I mean, based on what I know now, from what's going on behind the scene, I understand why a lot of them would that kind of opinion. But at the same time, I feel like for the longest part, the Headies was credible. At least it tried its best to be. The Headies played fair for the longest part. Let me not say play fair because I wasn't like part of like the umpire or whatever, but I feel like a lot of people won. It represented the industry outlook. It wasn't that towards a particular tribe or a particular class of artists or whatever. I feel like everybody had an opportunity to come and be part of that community. I feel like the artists just the artists kind of like went overboard in their criticism and in their neglect of the academy. They just had the resources to do it. If they didn't have the ability to have that kind of international appeal, you would, if the only kind of recognition you are going to get is locally, you still find a way to respect it.
Yes,
not agree. Until everybody start getting beating nominations that the Headies begin to look like it didn't matter to them. That's it. Although we're still going to get to that. That's it. So I feel the artists contributed to it, and when whatever the artist does, the fans will amplify. It's just simple. The fans will amplify. Naramali was doing his leg walk and saying leg walk bigger than the Headies. He didn't have to say that shit. He didn't have to say that. He said it, and the fans were this and that. It became cool to shit on them, and they didn't help themselves with that. They were. It was like they were trying to kill themselves, and people were the artists were edging them up. Were edging, like they stood on a cliff trying to jump off a cliff, and instead of people were saying, "Hey, get back, let's help you guys."
Brought out phones to film it.
They're filming it. I see, they're cheering them up. Jump up. That's just what it looked like. What happened, right? And so it's the artists. Yeah, the artists kind of like played a role. The industry played a role. Like, I think they could have been more supported, but at the same time, the Headies provide a platform that can allow people to come and support. For example, right, the least you could do is get your nominations right, and if you get things right, your nominations are right. Like, they're not even have to be perfect. Let them just be. Let them just be order. Let there be order, professionalism in this thing. Your award ceremony, let there be a bit of order, a bit of professionalism, a bit of good execution. Things are nice, well arranged to it. Then allow everyone else call the artist out for not supporting. You know how painful it is that this is coming after the last edition, where a superstar like Rema, who is one of the biggest artists globally now, who is essentially one of the biggest artists on this continent, came on that stage, was there with you guys and fought for you, and was telling his colleagues that we need to support local institutions. That's a superstar calling out his colleagues on your behalf. You hold him your responsibility to make sure you act right. What they have done is that they've just basically let him down. You had an award show where Ashake showed up, Rema showed up, the two hottest artists in the year in review showed up, Shay Vibe showed up, Odumodu Black showed up. Everybody that mattered locally and internationally showed up. The big team might not show up. Fine, it doesn't matter. Fuck it. The new generation are trying to build with you guys. Embrace them. Jesus Christ, Rema showed up and was telling people we need to support local institutions. When you go internationally, you still come back here. You need to support Afrobeat. He was saying all that. He didn't have to. He genuinely didn't have to. Now look at what they've done. Look at the result. Look at the result. Look at those he's fighting for. So I cannot say like, yes, maybe the artists have not done enough, but someone like Rema has gone out there and called people out for you guys and tried to fight for you guys, and you guys are not even fighting for yourself. You're not giving people a reason to fight for you. The award ceremony is going to happen, and as expected, these people will show up. The biggest stars will show up, and I cannot, in good faith, pick up my phone and go on Twitter or X and start calling out people for not showing up that you don't support local institutions. Because why? It's not well organized. It's beneath their standard. I'm sorry.
What's there to support?
Like this, the story of the Headies and the artists is that the story of the Nigerian music industry and our artists is that we're playing catch up. Everything in Nigeria is playing catch up with those making the music. The musicians, the producers, they are far gone. The award ceremony, the local media, the local ecosystem is playing catch up. So you cannot afford to be sleeping up when you're playing catch up. You have to act right. You have to act right. These guys they're performing. You have a musician that's performing on the biggest stage of of global music. Record-breaking performance on the Grammy stage. You have seen Fireboy perform on the BET stage. You've seen this guy go there and win all these things. You want to be able to give them something to even, okay, fine. Okay, I think I respect this. Maybe one of these I'll show up. And if they don't show up, then people have a reason to say, come on guys, you guys show up for the international award. How about you guys don't show up for our own too? even give their fans a reason to ask that you guys should show up and let us see you in Nigeria. This is the only thing we see. Give their fans a reason to make that request, but you don't. How can anyone in good faith call out any superstar for not showing up when the nominations are this messed up? So it's the artists kind of like aggravated or accelerated the struggles, the decline. The Headies was declining, and possibly the artists showing up, the artists showing support would have propped it up. But they didn't, and I would have it's good that they should. I think they kind of owe it to the Headies that they should have done this, because the Headies give a lot to them. But it's just the nature of the world. It's just the nature of, you don't necessarily get what you deserve. You get what you fight for. You get what you get where you put yourself in. You understand? So if the Grammys start fucking up consistently and they don't try to make things right, that their fuck up are so monumental that it's not able to be ignored, they won't get to this point. So yeah, it's just we cannot ignore the role the artists and fans played in the struggle, but at the end of the day, it all circles back down to the artists. All
right. So now talking about international awards, right? Do we think that the Grammys' popularity in Nigeria here has affected, Headies as their credibility and standing generally?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like, Mr. Adeayo was saying it in an interview recently. Mr. Animation was in an interview recently with Channels TV, and was saying the Grammys rather, is now more popular in the street of Lagos than the Headies. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Rightfully so.
Because the artists care about it, and anything the artists care about will be popular. It's just that straightforward. The artists, they care about the Grammys. And this interest they show in the Grammys trickle down to their fans, who amplify, who make noise about it. And they use it as bragging rights, this and that. There was a time when you guys were the bragging rights. I'm sorry, how many of these have your guy won? Like, we won next rated. It was the bragging right. No, Grammys was a pipe dream then. It was we just believe we could win it someday. Well, Headies was a major bragging right alongside awards like Mamas and Co. And the mobile, and for those who could win it.
Yeah.
But for the last part, Headies was a bragging right. But now it's no longer a bragging right, because the big artists, they just don't care about it. It's that simple. And it's one of the things that also accelerated the Headies decline is Afrobeats to the world. When these guys were international, they had access, they were nominated for Grammys, BETs, AME, VMEs. It's just like the standard grew so high that they just didn't want to play local anymore, and artists and Headies just fail to level up to the point where it gives them the international standard you're not used to, right? So it's the decline. Like, the more Nigerian artists become interested in the Grammys, the more the Headies will decline. It's just that straightforward. It's one or the other. It could be both, only if the Headies step up, right? It's look at what happened in 2024. Look at the bulk of the submissions Nigerian artists submitted to the bulk of the materials Nigerian artists submitted to the Grammys. I'm sorry, I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. I was embarrassed. It's not a Nigerian award. There are reasonably, there are three categories the Nigerian artists with access and proper backing can get into. Three categories you think, okay, these are my best shot. Therefore, those like Temps and Co, they can get outside that one. Your global categories and the African music song performance, African song performance category. But the submission for song of the year, I'll see ridiculous submission for record of the year, because that's the only way they feel they can get recognized. That's what they care about. So yeah, if you want them to support your own, you have to give them something worth supporting, something worth propping up, something worth showing up for. I'm sorry, the artists have failed to do this, and the more the Grammys attract Nigerian artists, the more they'll become more popular in Nigeria, and they're capitalizing on it. They did an event last year in Nigeria, and sooner or later they start doing the Grammy tours, and they get artists to perform, people masterclasses, small little small pop-up concerts here and there. They start dominating the ecosystem, and as sooner or later they might start considering a Nigerian Grammys. also an African Grammys with kind of like focus on a bit of Nigeria and everything. So now later, why not? Why not? The Nigerian artists and they're essentially begging them that please come and do this award. Please come and do this award. That's what it looks like now. Because you're looking through the Grammy juries are looking through the record of the Headies Nominations. They are seeing Nigeria. What's happening? Why are these so like? And they look at, okay, there's this interest growing there, and it's just not it's just not limited to the artists alone. It has trickled down to the consumers. The average Nigerian music consumer cares more about the Grammys than the Headies. The average Nigerian music influencer is talking about the Headies. An influencer, the Grammys, I'm sorry. And I don't be condescending to anyone, but people, I don't know, like, if the Grammys wasn't this popular in Nigeria, if Davido, Burna Boy, Ashake, and the likes and the superstars are not getting nominated for the Grammys, these people would not even care about the Grammys. I saw a video of an influencer pick up the phone and say, well, you know the reason Davido will not with the Grammys is because he cares so much about the Grammys. He was saying it in pidgin. Why no go win be say he cares so much about the Grammys? These people, if you notice them, they don't give people who care about them. I think you shut the fuck up.
What do you know?
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But that is it. Like, these people are now talking about the Grammys like it's a Nigerian award because that's what matters to them. That's what is popular. That is what is popular. And sooner or later, we have to ask ourselves, how long would it take for the Grammys to capitalize on this?
Give them 2 years.
How long will it take for them to capitalize the Latin Grammys? If they're looking to actually expand beyond the US, I don't see where they want to go. I think Nigeria, Africa is the best market for them. It's fast growing. We have the youngest, the highest population of young people in the world. Our music is vibrant. It's always evolving. You can infuse anything into it, and we fucking love the Grammys. So it's a matter of time. So I think his concerns, Mr. Ayanimasha's concerns, are valid, and it should be more concerned than it is right now. And they need to sit up, because sooner or later, if they're going to have any serious competition, is that, and because I don't think people, I've heard people say, how about there's no competition, there's no local competition. How about a Nigerian award happen? Like Sound City used to happen. It was a great award. It was beautiful.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it stopped happening.
MVP.
Sound MVP stopped happening for reasons we don't know. Afrima is not consistent either because it's an award. Yeah, Trace is going to happen this year. I think it's happening in Zanzibar. It's in its second year, so you probably think it's going to pick up as it goes on. But what I can say is that starting a new award is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Anyone that wants to start a new award, my best advice to you, forget about the superstars. Nominate them, invite them. Don't inch your award on them showing up. Because what you are doing is playing catch up. They already have access at the BET, the AME, the VMAs. They're already rubbing shoulders with the biggest stars in the world. And you're just starting a new award. You're a bunch of guys starting a new award in Nigeria. Nigerian artists, they are not known for supporting the local ecosystem. They do not give a fuck. You understand? So don't inch your award ceremony happening or not happening on their appearances. Just look for the young guys coming up, the people who are interested in showing support. Start with them, focus on them. If it's the emerging stars that are interested in showing up, focus on them and grow with them. Someday those emerging stars will become superstars, and hopefully they keep showing up. That's how you grow a sustainable award. That's why they're this messed up. They inch it too much on the superstar showing up. They're using private jets to fly the superstar just because they want him to be there, because they believe it's going to give them credibility. Okay, Kim, you guys are the show. Next year, you did the show. Now what? You took the award show to the USA for economic reasons. We understand that, right? It was in the USA. It should be easier for them to show up since they basically live there now. They didn't come. They still didn't show up. So that's it. Like, you play catch up, right? These guys are far gone. You're starting something new. They won't even care about it, right? So it's just difficult for us to start building an award that will get to the level of the Headies anytime soon. And that's why people need the Headies to really, really step up. So yeah, on the question if the Grammys popularity is affecting the Headies popularity, absolutely. This is a fact that Mr. Ayanimasha appreciates. It's a fact everybody needs to appreciate. Whatever the big artists gravitate towards is going to become popular. And it's just the reality. And if the Headies are affected so much by this, I think they need to act up. They need to fix up urgently.
All right. So talking about fixing up, what do you think it would cost the Headies to, fix up?
It's going to cost them commitment. Like, there's going to have to be a lot of will and commitment to get it right. The first thing would be this award ceremony needs to stop being run like a one-man business. Like, with all due respect to everybody, like, I have a couple of people I know, people I'm close with, who've tried to work with them, have some bit of contributions here and there. They told me that it's not, your inputs are not really readily welcome. It's whatever you see, okay, it's fine, but at the end of the day, it's what one person thinks that's going to happen. One person dictates everything. That's not how it should be. I feel like it's time for Headies to embrace evolution. I think it's time for the Headies to wake up and smell the coffee. It's just not, they're not getting it right. I feel to get it right, it needs to stop being run as a one-man business. With all due respect to everybody, I admire what they've built. I respect what they've built. And that's why I'm always persistent in trying to call them out where I feel they've come short and also supporting them where I can. I think the success of the Headies is the success of the Nigerian music industry. I feel it's embarrassing for us as an industry not to have an award ceremony, a credible award ceremony. Now, the Grammys is 6-7 years old. Let's not compare ourselves to the Grammys, right? They always say that US is 30. US is over, is nearly 300 years old. Don't compare yourself to the US, this and that. So Grammy 6-7. Let's compare ourselves to South Korean Music Award, to Korean Music Award. See how far they've come. Let's compare ourselves to Korean, the K-pop music industry. See how far they've come. Yeah, so like Nigeria, let's compare ourselves to a country like fucking Singapore. See how far they've come. Right, with even far limited resources. Right, so it's in the case of the Nigerian music industry, the lack of one widely celebrated and acclaimed award show is disturbing. It's disturbing, and the one that has been there for a while now is just not helping matters. It just always keep descending into reaching new lows, right? So for them, what would it cost to get it right? It's will, commitment, the decision that this needs to stop being a one-man show. Let other people come on board. Let new people come with fresh ideas. Yeah, I get that someone created this stuff. It's someone's idea. It's someone's business. Possibly big source of livelihood. But you could still have all those stuff and still let people run it for you and come up with fresh ideas. Let people come up with fresh ideas. Let people be a part of this stuff. Let it be run like an academy where there are people with inputs. Their requirement and qualification to be part of it. Not just this, I wake up one morning, I want to have an award show. Okay, let's go and do it kind of situation was saying. That's what it's looking like. And I'm sorry because this looks like it's talking down on the effort of a lot of people. But I think the Headies don't understand how important they are to the ecosystem. There's no award ceremony in the world, except if I'm wrong, I will need someone to maybe correct me, that gives one winner of a category a Bentley.
I remember.
A house. I've never heard of it before. You cannot be an award show that gives out a Bentley, a house to winners and still unable to command respect. Like, you're practically giving them something that they're not getting from anywhere else. You should be able to command respect. So I don't think the Headies understand how important they are to the ecosystem. For them to get it right, they need to be desire to let other people come on board. You understand? This has to stop being a one-man show. Let other people come on board. Let people who are willing. Let people like Toby Mohammed, Elijah Poppin, who understand how, like, who've built events successfully over the years. Let them come on board. Let industry executives with credibility, people that can reach out and bridge the gap between the creatives, the artists, the producers, the creatives, the creators of music as an ecosystem, and you guys as an institution. Let people who can bridge the gap come on board. I mean, yes, there's need for funding. Yes, the government needs support. There's all that. But if execution is poor, if with what you have, you've not been able to make the most out of it, if your process continues to be questionable and just unbecoming of an award ceremony that have been running since 2006, then I'm sorry, you're not going to get the support you need. So at the end of the day, right, the bottom line for me is that we need to keep calling them out. At the same time, we need to keep showing them every support we can. I understand how it looks. I understand that it's disappointing. I understand that as an artist, you have attended the BT, you've attended the VMAs and the Grammys, and you come back home and the atmosphere just doesn't measure up. The organization, the execution doesn't measure up. But what I can say is just show support in any way you can. Just show up sometimes. Just support. Because at the end of the day, right, when the fact that we're able to build an award ceremony that can last for 40 years, because the way this is going, it looks like it's struggling. Gap years, poor organization. But if we can come together and ask this, what do you need? And people with the right voices are able to tell the people in charge that, see, you guys need to let other people in. You guys need help, desperately so. And you guys should understand that you need to embrace it. Or someone else who's going to come, take your place. And sooner or later, what you try not to lose, what you think is yours, I try not to lose, you lose it eventually. They need to let people who can say that needs to say it, and they need to be able to appreciate that. Because again, the ability for everyone in the ecosystem to come together and build something that can last 50, 40 years and document Nigerian music, reward it across 40 years, and be able to adapt to the next generation is going to be possibly the biggest success that the ecosystem will possibly have. Nigerian music from possibly maybe 1999, 2000 till date look like they were starting afresh. Look like I was starting afresh. Look like the machinery was being built again because there was no infrastructure. Big labels came, then they left. Everyone was signed to a big label at some point. Adeayo Ayuba, Sashino Peters, Fela, Kingsoni Ade, Oliver the Cook, all these guys. Even the local labels were big, Decca, Premier. They were all huge. Institutions collapsed because they were not sustained, because they didn't get with the times, right? And the institutions that have endured in other parts of the world, they have been able to add something down to the new generation that is going to be celebrated. And that's why it matters. And our inability to do that is an indictment to everybody. And in as much as this is not making it easy for everyone, my appeal to everyone is that just always be willing to lend your support and be willing to help them in any way you can. And there is, please, you need help. You need help. Please be humble enough to accept it. That's factually.